New Jersey Attorney General Gurbir Grewal claiming a victory of sorts in the battle over 3D printed firearms. That's right. We've brought you this story about the legal battle back and forth where 8 attorneys general across the United States signed onto a lawsuit to stop a Texas company from releasing plans on how to print a firearm on a 3D printer. On Tuesday, a federal judge in Seattle ruled that the company in Texas cannot, it would be illegal for them to publish on their website those plans for a 3D firearm. The Attorney General had a press conference today. Our own Nate Rogers was there. Nate, what do you got?
That's right, Bill. Attorney General Gurbir Grewal is just one of several attorneys general throughout the country working to block this effort. Now, during today's press conference in Newark, Grewal said he was proud to stand up against the 3D gun blueprint founder. He called the plan a threat to all of our residents.
And we sued them to stop them from publishing codes online, codes that at a click of a button would have enabled anyone, including terrorists, including criminals, including domestic abusers, including juveniles, to print guns using a 3D printer.
Austin-based company Defense Distributed planned to officially upload blueprints for 3D printable guns at midnight today. Firearms included handguns and AR-15 style rifles. Supporters of the company cited Second Amendment rights. Critics say the blueprints only help criminals and terrorists succeed with evil measures.
I saw the process of using the 3D technology to produce many of the items that our military uses in combat. We do not need to have the public gaining access to the ability to replicate and create the types of things that I saw.
Now, Bill, as we've mentioned previously, some of those blueprints were actually posted days ago. And according to CNN, the designs were downloaded several thousand times already. That's before Defense Distributed removed them. The issue goes back to federal court in August and September. Grewal says he'll continue to rally throughout the country against this effort. Bill?
All right. Nate, stick around for a minute. I just want to cover another story. You may remember we reported last week a controversial failed joke that offended many people, including Attorney General Gurbir Grewal, made by 2 of New Jersey 101.5's hosts, the afternoon hosts, Dennis Malloy and Judy Franco, referring to him as Turban Man. Well, that raised the ire of the governor and the Attorney General, and it got the 2 suspended from the station. Full disclosure, I am the morning host on New Jersey 101.5 and colleagues of Dennis and Judy, but it got them suspended for 10 days. Now, Gurbir Grewal, the New Jersey Attorney General, did come out and right away talked about how offended he was on Twitter. But today, after this event, he spoke on camera for the first time.
I didn't ask for an apology. I didn't need an apology. I'm back to work. Like I said last week, my concern is the public safety of residents in this state. Perhaps somebody else wanted one. And they can assess whether it was appropriate. Again, I'm more concerned that the level of discourse, the conduct changes, because it's not just a radio station, it's just we all have to be more responsible because words do matter and comments lead to conduct, as we've seen across this country.
Now, Nate, I know you caught up with Attorney General Grewal after the event, but what struck me is this video we're showing now where he spent a little time talking to some kids who were asking him about his turban. What happened?
Well, absolutely, Bill. The press conference, just to set it up for you a little bit, the press conference had just ended, and I was walking along just trying to, film what we call B-roll here in television news. And right away, I noticed these 3 or 4 young boys saying, "Hey, sir, I'm sorry, what's that thing on your head?" And so myself and maybe 1 or 2 people standing around him, we were a little nervous, but he stopped in his tracks, against his chief of staff and PR team's wishes because, he had to get to another event. But he stopped and educated these kids on, what his turban represented. He said that he is a Sikh, a devout Sikh, and the kid right away said, "Sikh, I've never heard of that. Does that mean you're Muslim?" And he took even more time to just sit and talk to these kids, and they had no idea who the Attorney General even was. But the fact that he just stopped to educate them, it really is something that set well with me.
All right, thank you, Nate. Stick around for a second. I'm going to bring in our A-plus panel, immigration attorney Afia Yunus and attorney and publisher of the Save Jersey blog, Matt Rooney. Matt, I'm going to start with you on this, this flap over this last week. I mean, it's nice to see a conversation between curious kids and the Attorney General. I think if we had that kind of a normalized discussion last week, I don't know that this would have been as controversial. It seemed to me the Attorney General today saying something a little different than his tweet would have implied last week. Why do you think the change?
I've talked to so many friends, including Indian friends, that say, yeah, it was a stupid joke, but I didn't lose any sleep over it. Look, this is what the Murphy administration does. They take things that nobody is offended by, because we all know this is a show where they make fun of everybody, stepped over the line, seized on it, tried to politicize it, and we can't get the guy to behave like a leader unless he doesn't think he's on camera. It's
but
disgusting.
To say nobody was offended by it is in itself insensitive, because there were definitely people who were offended by it.
You'll be offended by a lot less in life if you stop assuming that everybody who makes a mistake or says something stupid harbors some kind of hateful intent.
But
Dennis
there's
Malloy
room for
was
positive
one
discourse,
was a
right?
leader.
Afia, let me just ask you before I bring
turban.
Nate back in. Do you think, though, we've gone a little far where we've lost the ability to have a discourse? Because the minute that someone's offended, it results in a suspension. In some cases, it results in firings. You know, it's almost like we go to this extreme instead of just say, hey, man, I'm sorry.
There's a way to do it, definitely. And I think we may be moving away from that, but there's definitely a way to bring everyone to the table and let's discuss. And maybe there needs to be more education in the school system as to, you know, different religions and why they do certain things. If we'd educate our kids in the beginning, this wouldn't come out later.
Nate?
Yeah, I just want to add, Bill, you know, following today's press conference, you know, when I approached the Attorney General about, you know, the suspensions, I mean, there was really like this sigh, like, here we go again. And trust me, I've never met him before. He was definitely not, I would say, not wanting to really address it. He just addressed it because we asked him. And so I'm not sure. I really do. I gathered from talking to him that he's over it, that he has moved on.
And I wish we had more time, because this whole 3D gun nonsense is driving me crazy. That could be a whole other segment. We do the whole show on that. Thank you, Nate.
Absolutely. No problem. Take care, Bill.